Surprisingly, this programme gets correspondence. Josh has been on the Twitter. Monday Roundup, he says, which is not the name of the programme. Hashtag Leeds in crisis, tick. Hashtag Up the London, tick. Hashtag Wigan to win, tick. Hashtag resting is tweeting. Cheating. Click. Tick. You can tell I can't be bothered to edit this. Hashtag A. I don't know what that's for. Cheers, Josh. Thanks for getting in touch. You can do so at Forty20 Live if you want to send us any feedback on any of our products. Anything negative, we'll just ignore. Anything positive, we'll retweet. Oh, that's the other people. Right, this is the special Glory West Wales have won a game, Run for Your Lives edition of the programme. They beat Coventry 44-16. We can't start anywhere else. They were 20-0 up at half-time. Well done to Kim Williams and all the players of the West Wales Raiders. You've got to keep going. This is a great message for the kids out there. Keep going. One day you might win. I mean, you might not either, but you might do, and West Wales have done so. They're only a point behind Keighley now at the bottom of the League One table. Elsewhere in League One this weekend, it was Newcastle 34, London Scholars 16, Workington 52, Keighley 4, and Crusaders 0, Doncaster 30. The league table stands as such. Whitehaven top, 3 wins in a row. They're top on 23 points. Newcastle below them on 21, continuing their winning run. Oldham 20 points in third. Doncaster have played a game more. They're on 16 games with 18 points in fourth. Huntsville have played 2 less than most teams. They've played 14. They've got 18 points from those. Workington in the playoffs with 2 wins, making them 16 points from 16 games. And it's the Scholars who are on an awful run of form at the minute. They're on 15 from 16. The Crusaders 12 from 15. Coventry 8 from 15. Keighley 3 from 15. Of course, they've had the points deducted. And West Wales 1 from 16 for 2 points. Well done, the West Wales Raiders. On to the Championship, and a busy weekend of action there on Friday, or rather on Saturday. Toulouse beat Sheffield 56 points to 18, so a good win for Olympique on a home soil. Elsewhere, Dewsbury 28, Halifax 28, Featherstone 50, Rochdale 6, Lee 48, Batley 12, Swinton 30, Barrow 12. Swinton's form has been superb in recent weeks, hasn't it? York edged out Bredford 25-24, and Toronto lifted the league leaders' shield for the second straight year in the Championship, the third straight year overall, beating the Widnes Vikings 24-19, a very entertaining game on the telly. Toronto top then on 42 points. They cannot be moved. York into second, 31 from 22. Toulouse and Lee third and fourth, both on 30 points. See if Lee sign any more players this week. Featherstone are fifth on 28. All teams have played 22, bar Dewsbury and Rochdale, by the way. Bradford on 25 points, just outside the playoffs. Sheffield on 24. Halifax on 19. Swinton 17. Batley 13. Widnes on 12, Dewsbury on 12, Barrow on 9, and Rochdale at the bottom on 2 points. Big weekend in Women's Super League. Castlewood Tigers beat Wakefield Trinity 54 points to 8. Of course, they meet Leeds Rhinos in the Challenge Cup final next Saturday. Leeds went into that game with their 30 points to 16 defeat to St Helens at home. Of course, they beat Saints in the Challenge Cup semi-final. I guess if they could have won one of the two, they got the right one. And Wigan came from behind to beat Bradford in a tight game at Odsal, 20 points to 16. On to the Men's Super League and, controversy and talking points and stuff, which we'll be talking about on Monday night, I am sure, from 6 o'clock. But we'll start on Thursday. Do we have to? Wigan beating Wakefield fairly comfortably. Not a good performance from Wakefield, it's fair to say. 46 points to 16. Well, at least they won the second half. But as you know, Nigel Wood's idea to bring in points for winning the second half didn't come in, so it doesn't mean much. Here's the analysis afterwards. Pulling no punches, Gary Schofield was alongside Mark Wilson.
I thought pre-game, Wakey might have a sniff here tonight, Gary. The game was over after 15 minutes. Wakey were 18-0 down. An abysmal performance. What do you make of it?
Well, it was a shocking performance, certainly for that first 40 minutes, wasn't it? And I was like yourself, because Wakefield over the last couple of seasons, whether it's been at home or away here at the DW, they've put in a decent performance and put in a good team performance. But quite simply, that first 40 minutes, Mark, wasn't good enough.
Too many errors in that opening period, weren't there?
Well, there just wasn't any desire, there wasn't any purpose, there wasn't any organisation from there. And like Wigan didn't have to do anything too dramatic or too brilliant to go. The whole they did were the basics. That they ran hard and straight and direct. The halfbacks in Williams and Samet just fed the players who were just running straight into the gaps. The defence from Wakefield was paper thin, non-existent, as I mentioned, with no design and purpose from there, and they just made it far too easy for Wigan.
And Wigan, to be fair, were ruthless in that first half, weren't they?
Wigan are ruthless, and as we mentioned, before the game started, that a couple of weeks ago against Hull Rovers, you give Wigan good field position again, just a little bit of indiscipline from Wakefield, which gave Wigan at Wakefield that good field position, and Wigan are ruthless. And I say the form what George Williams in at the moment, Liam Farrell, he's back to his international best, running out wide from there, and they just they ripped Wakefield apart.
They did indeed. Hat-trick for Farrell. Truth be told, Wigan didn't get out of second gear, did they?
They didn't have to. They didn't have to, and we was looking certainly for that second half a bit of a reaction, but in that first half they didn't have to, because it was all far too easy, because Wakefield, quite slippy mark for the first 40 minutes, didn't turn up and didn't get off the bus.
Where do they go from here? We know they've got next week off. They go to St Helens thereafter. They've got a really tough run of fixtures. They've got some big games coming up.
Well, one thing for sure here now, the question is going to be where they're looking over the shoulders. Well, they're not only just looking at the over the shoulders, they'll be looking at that league table. And also as well, as we mentioned tonight, the form against is going to be very, very important. And in tonight, what they've got beaten 46-30, so that's a 30-point deficit from there. So, yeah, Wakefield, not just over the shoulder. They're looking at that league table. They'll be looking certainly at the two games this weekend, and to Hull KR and Huddersfield, and certainly London with St Helens. We know St Helens are going to be resting a few of their players, and rightly so. Justin Holbrook, he couldn't care less about the bottom four. He's in a position where he can do what he wants. He can dictate what he wants from there. So Wakefield now, I'll tell you what, not just... Yeah, the Wakefield fans will be wanting a little bit more pressure put on Chris Chester, and certainly on the players from there. Tell you what, they're in the mix. They're in the mix of the relegation.
Well, we saw tonight, Anthony England, no criticism of him, came hobbling back on the field. They are struggling numbers-wise, but that performance, that wasn't acceptable, whether you've got injuries or not, was it?
Absolutely, no, it wasn't. It wasn't acceptable. And to be honest with you, I'll take two players out of that from Wakefield, Chris Anakin and Tanginoa, who, for me, if I was giving them points out of 10, I would be giving them 7 out of 10. For me, any player who gets around about a 7 out of 10 has had a decent game. But the rest of them, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't give them no more than 3. Even though Hampshire scored a couple of tries from there, just a bit of vision at time, maybe a bit of luck from there. But apart from that, there's only Anakin and Tanginoa who could come out of this performance with any sort of pride whatsoever from there. So, no, that performance, quite simply, forget about the 40 minutes, the overall full 18 minutes, when you saw the try there from Gildart, just literally, again, no desire and purpose to work for the teammates. No desire there whatsoever. So whether there's a lack of team spirit in that dressing room, I don't know that, because I'm not in there.
But you mentioned, Gary, I mean, 3 tries in the opening 14 minutes. We were watching it before we went on air. And, you were pointing out numbers were wrong, the defence wasn't lined up right. I mean, that's just talking to the guy next to you, isn't it?
Well, of course it is, a communication, but also the body language was telling me that they didn't want to fight for each other. They didn't want to fight as a team from there, so whether that's right in the dressing room from there, I can't really say about that, because I don't really know, but the body language, what I was seeing, certainly the first 15 minutes, just wasn't acceptable. And the Gildart try as well in the second half, when the Wakefield got a first try from there, again, the reaction and desire, simply not good enough. And if I'm honest with you, you don't often hear it very often now from coaches, but I'm hoping Chris Chester has ripped into them players, because one thing for sure, the Wakefield fans will be, calling for Chris Chester's head. But I think what Chris has done over the last certainly 2 seasons, he's got a bit of time in the bank, 2 top 5s from there. But everybody expecting Wakefield for the top 5. That's why they brought Danny Brough in to be that final piece of the jigsaw. I'll tell you now, that partnership between him and Miller is not working.
Then on Friday, there was a big game at the bottom of the table as the Huddersfield Giants went to Hull Kingston Rovers, and it was Huddersfield who edged into a victory, 18 points to 12. And let's hear it from the Giants coach, Simon Walford.
What's going inside my head is Darnell kicked a bloody goal, and he didn't. So it wasn't over. They got the ball back. They had a couple of cracks at us. Even the last play of the game, they've kicked across to their left and then kicked one back to our right. And I'm just, we've lost a lot of tight games this year, and I'm just praying that we got the job done tonight. And thankfully, Ennis caught the ball there, the last ball, and put it over the sideline. And it won one of the more satisfying wins, that's for sure. No secret, we're in a bit of a fight down the bottom of the ladder, and we needed to win tonight. We just needed to find a way to win, and it's easier said than done coming to Hull KR against a team that is just as desperate as us. We knew we were going to have to fight, till the 80th minute to win tonight. Particularly with the weather the way it was never going to be a high-scoring game. But look, there are a lot of things there we need to improve from an attack point of view. We lost our composure a little bit, and we bombed a couple of chances. But to KR's credit too, they got us on the try line a couple of times in that second half where I thought we were going to score, and their defence held up pretty good in the second half too. So we worked hard, we got the win. That's all that counts.
You look very happy on the telly. There providing analysis for us was Paul Cook alongside Mark this time.
Marginally the better team, 6 points in it, and thoroughly deserved in my opinion. I thought there was just better in most departments, but only marginally.
They missed Parcell tonight. A lot of talk about the boys from Warrington that have had to go back, but the one they did miss was Parcell, wasn't it?
Yeah, quick around the ruck, and on the flip side of that, Leeming come off the bench and really quickened the pace up for the Giants. I thought he was great. Gaskill was outstanding. I thought he was the best half on the field. Matagi and Ty I thought was very good for the Giants as well. Losing Lynette early for Hull KR was a big blow. That meant a big reshuffle in their pack and back line. Kynors moving centres, Joel Tompkins a back row moving into the centre, so that hurt them attack wise, fluency, but take nothing away from the Giants. That's a couple of big away performances we've seen in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it is a couple of big away performances. Wins at Salford and win here, and truth be told, a bit of a nervy first half. They went behind early on, but second half they pretty much dominated, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Hull KR made too many errors coming out of their own end, but the Giants pressured them and eventually got over the try line a couple of times. So a really nice wet play to go in front, and then a nice kick play from Gaskill at the end of the game to feed McGilvray, who finished it. I thought that Lee Gaskill was probably the big difference for me.
Yeah, Lee Gaskill stood up and was counted tonight. Where do Hull KR go from here? They've got next week off, which I think is going to be crucial.
Yeah, it allows them to get some bumps and bruises looked at, maybe try and get some players back. A lot will depend on the results of maybe scans and how long term the injuries are to Parcell, Garbutt, Lynette. Some big players for them that have got some question marks over them fitness wise. So the week off comes at just the right time for them. And I suppose everybody in and around the bottom of the table as well get a chance to have a sit down, get some work into the players, whether that's mental, physical, aerobic, whatever it is. It allows you to try and freshen up the players for what is a huge end to season.
It wasn't a great game, was
No.
it? But Huddersfield tonight going home up the M62, they're not bothered what it looks like.
And I said that on air on TalkSport too. What we said was, it's not the performance. When you're at the bottom of the table, it's 2 points. It doesn't matter how ugly it is, it's 2 points, and it doesn't matter how pretty the game is. Huddersfield have come out on top. They've opened up some daylight between themselves and Hull KR, and they've piled pressure on Hull KR, looking over their shoulders now at the London result on Sunday against Saints.
They have indeed, and that is, it's going to be a huge weekend, isn't it? Both Leeds and London in action at the weekend.
Yeah, on Sunday, Hull FC obviously travelling to Leeds, and Saints travelling down to London, so everybody has a little eye on them results. If you're at the bottom of the table, Wakefield, I'm sure, will have an anxious wait on their players and their fitness, but also the results over the weekend, so I think it's fantastic.
Simon Wolford then, his side, they face Leeds next up.
Yeah.
They win that, are they safe,
Yes,
do you think?
I think so. I think possibly one or two wins for them will see them safe, even if it is that one, if London are to lose on Sunday against Saints. So I think it's a big result tonight for the Giants, a big away performance, and that's the second one in, as I said, in a few weeks after the Salford game.
They go above Wakefield. Wakefield at the minute, a bit of a sinking stone.
Yes, they are, and injuries again to some of their key players. I saw a tweet from Fifita today about, if you want to take my shirt and have a go, and it's, listen, that's just his way of fighting back, because he cares. I think he cares about the club. I think everybody cares. I think Chris Chester asked his players to show who cares in the second half performance against Wigan last night. I don't think there's any rugby player on the planet that doesn't care about the shirt they're playing for, or winning games. It's professional pride, but they're doing it tough at the minute with some injuries and some loss of form to players.
No Saturday game, so straight to Sunday. Controversy at London as St Helens left a load of players out because they've got a Challenge Cup semi-final to win next week against Halifax. They lost to London for the second time in, a month? 32 points to 12. Here's the Saints coach, Justin Holbrook.
We competed really hard today, and I thought it obviously got away from us in the end. So, I thought we competed really hard. I thought we were unlucky in the first half to be behind what we were and have a man in the bin and all that stuff. I thought nothing went our way in that first half, and I thought we tried really hard in the second half, and we were a real good chance when we got back in at 14-12, and then we made our own error and then didn't defend on the last play. We just didn't tackle them, and then once they got that try to get them to 20-12, then that was they kicked away then. So I thought up until that point I was confident we could go on and win the game. It's a big jump from academy to first team, and obviously they'll learn a lot today from that.
You mentioned about learning a lot. Is this sort of what these few games and these few games coming up are going to be more like, just getting players used to this style of play, or is there more to it than that?
No, they've deserved their opportunity. We've got some great young players at our club, and I would have obviously loved to come down here today and get the win and to celebrate with them, but we didn't play good enough, and London were too good for us. But for those guys to get to make their debut, it's a special occasion for them, but unfortunately we couldn't get the result for them.
And how the
So is there an element of if you don't play them today, when do you play?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was the right time, that's for sure. We've played a lot of hard games of late and asked a lot from our players, so I thought some young guys really earned the opportunity, and it was the right timing to give them a go, absolutely.
Obviously you've got more senior players who are going to have to come back in the fold already, because you don't want them to be completely zero match play going into the playoffs. So how difficult has it been for you and everyone else to get that balance right?
Oh, no, it hasn't been difficult at all. It's been easy. The only difficult part is we didn't win today. That was the difficult part. I think that we made the right changes for a reason, but we didn't play good enough in that back sort of 15-20 minutes to go on and win it. But as I said, as the game was unfolding, I thought we did really well to get back in the game from where we were.
You have to say, London have beaten Saints twice, yes. They beat Hull the other week in London. They beat Wakefield twice. They've beaten Wigan, they've beaten Leeds. Whoever goes down or finishes bottom, conspiracy theories of the world unite, it will be their fault. Castleford beat Warrington 27-18, but a pressure on Warrington at the moment. They go into next week's semi-final against Hull, who ended a long run since 2007 without a win at Leeds, but they won this time 26 points to 24. In a moment we'll hear from Richard Agar, but first here's Lee Radford.
I think Lucky did it now. I was sat behind you and I could see it from your angle, so no, he looked as confident as ever stroking the ball, and I thought kicking might be really important today. I knew their man is really high percentages as well from the NRL, so the importance of getting our goals, converting our goals was big for us, and proved big again today. I thought it was for a neutral, I thought it was a real good game of rugby. It was it was end to end. I thought they played really well. I genuinely thought when Carlos threw the intercepts, I thought that was going to be a real big game changer. They obviously some air came into their tyres and they grew a leg. So to come back after that, there's plenty of obstacles we had to climb. So that's all good preparation for next week. I think that I got no nails left. So that says a lot. Yeah, it was. It's been too long. I think I got told about it that it was the 10th year a couple of years ago, and that sort of really surprised me. So every year since has been it's been pretty high on our agenda to come and get a result here, and thankfully it's done. Yeah, just the type of game it was. I thought it was a real ding dong battle. I thought both teams really went at it, and they played with high energy. And you've got to give a bit of credit to them. I thought they look a lot better side than probably the league table suggests today, definitely. So for us to sort of come out the other end of that, I was pleased.
Yeah, frustrating. Close. Obviously very close. But I think the overriding message is we did enough things wrong in that game. Not to get the victory. We could have got it. There were a big turning point, obviously with the intercept try, and probably an even bigger turning point when we didn't deal with the kick-off. But when you're playing with the top teams in the comp, and there's 7-8 minutes left on the clock, or 10 minutes left on the clock, wherever they were, you've got to deal with stuff like that.
Considering I don't know what the stats were, but you didn't seem to complete much in the first half. Going in with 6 down, you can't help too bad about that.
We showed a good effort. We identified and we know Hull are a strong starting team. stats will tell you in the first 20, they post as many points as any other team, bar St Helens. So we know that we're important. I think we could be really disappointed with what we tossed up in that first 20. I thought our middles didn't really get a grip of anything that were coming through them in the middle, and compounded with some poor errors. But I did think we found some energy after that when we got a bit of the ball. So to come in 6 points down, completing around 65%, I think showed a pretty determined effort. And then we didn't see much field position in the second half, but I did think we showed a good energy with the ball. I thought we caused them some problems, and to get in front, scored a couple of really good tries, and it were all on. But as I say, I go back. I think when you look over the course of 80 minutes, we simply did too many things wrong that were in our control that invited them into some good positions. Even the winning try. The play before, we got three middles not putting a guy on the deck in his own 10, and just that little bit of extra effort and determination to win that collision probably gets you a little bit better organised, for the last play. We've got a disappointed and how can I say, dejected changing room, but still a determined one. Still a very, very determined one. We know if we can replicate some strong efforts like that, I thought the effort were much better than what we turned out last week, and brush up on a couple of areas, then we'll be fine.
And getting top billing on the podcast, Salford Red Devils battered the Catalan Dragons by 40 points to 14. Here is a victorious Ian Watson.
Oh yeah, I think on the back of last week as well, just the team performances at the moment are outstanding. We're not winning games on ability, we're winning on sheer endeavour and just desire as a team, really, more than anything. It's the way people are sticking in. Obviously, some things the supporters don't see is when we're going set for set for set, and your middles are out on your feet, your backs are coming in and helping them out, and then the middles are turning up and defending. And we weren't making many metres in the second half when it was that arm wrestle. Even in the first half, I think we defended the first 10 minutes on our goal line. But it's just that attitude that's winning us games and the desire to do it for each other.
Plenty of skill as well.
Yeah, there is, but I credit the endeavour, mate, more than anything else at this moment in time.
Look, beating them, they came in with revenge in their mind. Even the French press said it.
Yep.
They came out, didn't they? They made a real game of that.
They're a good team. They're a really good team. It's always a miss because they've been like a little bit like Hull, where they've either got beat heavily or they've won the games quite well. Same as Hull, but they're sat in a decent position in the league. It was important for us to make sure we capitalised on our win at Warrington last week to pull them further back, because I think they'd have gone 6 points in front of us if they'd have won today. So now it's only 2 points in front, so now we've got a chance of competing with them top teams.
It's not the team itself. Picking out an individual like Chris Wellington.
Yeah, I pick him out. Yeah, I pick Chris Wellham out. I don't like to normally identify the individual. Chris Wellham on his 300th career appearance, I thought was outstanding, mate, today. His 2 tries, his defence, him and Tui getting up together and just shutting them down defensively were outstanding, I thought.
So a lot of hires.
Yep.
Progressing.
Yep. Doing great at the moment. Just keep him going that way. He's bought into what we've asked him to do. He's real comfortable in the style of play that we do as well, and we play to his strengths, and outstanding. Some of the little kicks he's putting through at the moment are right on the money.
Josh Johnson as well, proven to be a good sign. He has a lot of grunt coming off the bench, doesn't he?
Yeah, his game. He's probably typical championship front rower. His game, innit? Bullock's gone well for Wigan as well, coming out of the same club. I think they've developed the games while they've been at Barrow because they're playing consistently every single week. Paul's done a great job up there with the 2 front rowers as well. He's come in and took his opportunity, put his hand up. He played really well at Warrington last week and look out of place. And then today again, there was no way we were leaving him out today. He's put his hand up and performed again today.
Week off Super League next week, chance to recharge their batteries for the teams not involved in the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup. Top of the table, St Helens, 40 points from 23 games, edging closer to retaining the league leaders' shield. 3 defeats in 4 now for Warrington, second place on 30. Hull, 28 points in third, closing that gap, and of course they meet at Bolton on Saturday. Wigan and Castleford both on 24 points in the top 5. Catalan's just outside on the same. Salford, 22 points in 7th, and now there's a gap developing 4 points to Huddersfield and Wakefield in 8th and 9th. Leeds, Hull KR and London all on 16 points. Leeds top of that 3. on points difference. And what a second to fixtures we got when we come back after the Challenge Cup break. St Helens take on Wakefield. All right, fair enough. Huddersfield Leeds. Ooh. Hull FC Wigan. Ooh. Catalan Warrington. Ooh. Hull KR Castleford. Ooh. And London Salford. I should have put Huddersfield Leeds last, because that is by far the biggest of the games after the Challenge Cup weekend. We're talking everything in Rugby League on Monday from 6 o'clock. If you can't join us, make sure you download the podcast. Lots of content this week, fingers crossed, ahead of the Women's Challenge Cup final. So make sure you stay tuned to that on all our social media channels, at Forty20 Live on Twitter. Search for Forty20 on Facebook, like the page, and you can subscribe on YouTube as